Welcome back to another episode of Day One Radio. We appreciate y'all listening, appreciate y'all watching. Shout out to Live Hip Hop Daily, shout out to CLNS Media. I know they sick up there in Boston after the Super Bowl, but it's all good. Shit, you can't win them all.
Right, they got a lot of Super Bowl pillows to sit on, a lot of Super Bowl blankets to cry on.
You can't win them all. Appreciate y'all subscribing. Make sure y'all go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts now, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, everything else we on. Subscribe, rate, and review. So, you know, we kind of mentioned it earlier, man. Did you watch the Super Bowl or was you boycotting?
You know what, man? Like, I did not watch the Super Bowl. I did not watch any NFL football, but I can't say it was because I was necessarily boycotting. It was
you don't really watch TV like that.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when folks would ask me, hey, you see the game? And I'm like, no. Like, oh, you down with the boycott? I was like, no, not really. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I wish I could be in that, you know, box with you, but I mean, I wasn't necessarily boycotting the NFL. Now, the fact that it was being boycotted by us didn't necessarily give me like any kind of incentive to want to watch either. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hadn't been watching football a lot because, you know, it started stressing me out. I mean, I'm still a Steelers fan,
right?
But it's like Steelers football became very stressful over the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I remember the moment I kind of decided I couldn't just watch football every week. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm like, emotionally detached from sports as well. Like, that shit, it's too much, bro. And my pop's been like that. He's been trying to tell me and my cousins and all that. He was like, hey, man, especially talking about the Raiders. Like, them boys, hey, don't let them disappoint you.
You know, I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but yeah, it wasn't because I was necessarily boycotting, but the boycott did not give me an incentive to want to watch it.
I feel like boycotting watching something on TV is like marching. It's somewhat symbolic, but it doesn't really hit the bottom line. I'm more of a bottom line person. Like, I probably, including the Super Bowl, I may have watched 3 football games this year, 4 football games. So when people be asking me questions, I really be like, I don't really know what to tell you because I'm not speaking from a place of knowledge from this year. But I'm all about don't buy no merch, don't wear no merch, don't buy no tickets, no concessions, no parking, none of that. Hit the bottom line. If you're a Nielsen family, or, you know, you have one of them boxes or you write down what you watch, then, of course, what you do affects the bottom line. But, yeah, I don't go on NFL.com. I don't do none of that. And I don't mention it or post anything about it on social media. It's a trip that people really feel like because they're posting negative stuff about the NFL or about a player or about a team that it's helping the situation. And it could be to an extent, but you're still helping with the algorithm of them being picked up. And that shit boosts them up the Google rankings. That shit don't look at sentiment. It looks at, for the most part, it looks at what's being mentioned.
Well, I mean, now, do you think there are people that are counting these things? I'm not talking about like the bots, but like people that are in marketing that are paying attention to the sentiments. Like, look, yeah, we got 100,000 clicks on this thing or whatever. Traffic went up, but 75% of that traffic is like, you know, the thumbs down. It's, 100%. You know, the anger. So, I mean, like is that not, do you think that's not affecting bottom lines?
100%, but it's not foolproof. Like, I've worked for agencies, as you know, doing digital marketing and social media, and there are softwares that you use that measure sentiment. It's never 100%, and it really just depends on what people program in there. And most of the people who are following this stuff, they goofy. They don't really know what's happening. Like, they like a year behind on everything. So it could be a slang word that's negative, and they don't know that shit is negative. And they'd be like, oh, this was mentioned, and it's horrible. You know what I mean? So that's one of those things that you don't really know unless you're in there. But my point is, you're still helping. It's kind of like when I don't know if we talked about the H&M thing or whatever, but it's like, these people know what's going to be offensive or what's going to be negative, and sometimes it's worth it for the extra press.
I don't know. I like with the H&M thing, it's like, you know.
I'm not saying them specifically. I'm saying overall, like, people ain't that dumb. They know when something is out of pocket. It's just like a rapper doing a gimmick, faking a shooting, whatever. Like, it's like, oh, okay, we know that this shit is going to hit the blogs. We kind of light, we kind of slow. let's get out there because just.
But I mean,
let me say this, Trump is in office, so clearly. We know that from the voting, there are millions of people who ride with this sentiment. Mm-hmm. So you may piss us off, but you gaining other followers that are with the bullshit.
Well, I mean, all of that is case specific. Like for one, like with Trump, you know, the news networks know what they're doing by always talking about dude because like he's primetime television. Like he's so polarizing that people that love him are going to watch it. People that hate him are going to watch other people that hate him talk about him or, you know, get mad at people that love him. So, like, the television networks know what they're doing by always reporting on dude. Now, in the case of places like H&M where, you know, they've done something out of pocket, you know, I'm not sure that the negative press equals out to be a positive for them. You know what I'm saying? Grant, I can only go off of, like, what I've walked past, but it's like I have walked past, for some reason, more H&Ms in the last month than I thought I did. And it's like, and I purposely like look through the window, I'm like, man, there is tumbleweeds in there. Yeah, and there's an 80% off sign in the window. So
that's
it's like
how they get you back.
You know, so we like sales. They've definitely been, from what I can see, negatively impacted in that case, and just from like some of their celebrity endorsers like publicly distancing themselves, like the G-Eazy's and the Weekends and people like that. So I'm not always sure that the negative press always counts towards the whole, we getting out there. And even like folks like with Black Youngster. Remember that time he tried to set up the thing where the police stopped him at the Wells Fargo ATM because he took out too much money? Did that make him blow up?
It helped? I had never heard of Black Youngster before that day.
I mean, it helped you hear of him, but have you gone
he hasn't gone anywhere?
But have you downloaded a Black Youngster mixtape since then? Do you think that people that are listening to Black Youngster are listening to him because that's the dude that got stopped at the ATM, which later turned out to be a fake story anyway? You know what I'm saying?
100% do, because I feel like he was marketing that side of himself for months before he was marketing the music. So I think it's worked for him 100%. I don't know. I may know 2 Black Youngster songs, but I definitely know the shenanigans. 100%.
Now, but to the case of the Super Bowl, like, you know, a lot of people did boycott the NFL this year, and you know it's being reported that they only drew 103.4 million viewers, the smallest audience in damn near a decade.
And that sounds like a lot of people, but it's really not a lot of people. 103 million. The Super Bowl is broadcast everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's not a lot of people. Like, and it's down 7% from last year. And they'll say it's because of concussion shit. I heard that today. They'll say it's because people were upset because players were kneeling. They'll say, they don't never say it's because black people and progressive people stopped fucking with the NFL because of what they did to Kaepernick and because of how it was handled. They'll never say that.
Right. But that said, since we, you know, have accepted that to be, you know, our truth, do you not think now that boycotting and not watching, even though you don't have that Nielsen box, like, does that not affect the bottom line? Like, am I saying that the NFL is going to try to black up the Super Bowl next year by having a free Meek Mill party or something like that? No, but I mean,
we're going to get to that.
Do you think that, you know, that's not the case? Do you think that the boycotting and not watching has not affected their bottom line?
It's the case because at least publicly, they're ignoring why shit has changed. Because publicly, they're not saying because of how we treated Kaepernick, because of our response to Kaepernick coming out against violence, police violence against black people, you haven't heard that acknowledged. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting that the Philadelphia Eagles owner, Lurie, and I don't know what side of the sense he sits on, but he's definitely been probably the most vocal about and at least being in the presence of meeting with police in Philadelphia, him and, you know, Malcolm Jenkins and all of that stuff. It's you know, it's one of those things like we won't know until Kaepernick get a job or they really do some real shit like that $89.3 million that they pledged to make all these changes and stuff. We don't know where that shit is going. You know what I mean? Like, we have no idea. So we'll see. But I'm happy that the ratings went down. Let them keep going down. At the end of the day.
And also, I mean, like I said, I have not been watching football consistently for a while. But I mean, do you think the ratings also have to do with just, the teams that were in it? Because it's like this has been like just the least talked about Super Bowl that I've seen, because these two teams have fan bases where it's hard to find fans of those teams outside of those areas. Like, I don't know of Eagles and Patriots fans in Austin, Texas, or Sacramento, California, or West Palm Beach, Florida, places, what I'm saying? Like it could be because of two teams that play, like people.
I gotta disagree, bro, because I think it's like a Mayweather fight. You watching it because you want to see the champ lose, or you watching it because you want to see the champ win? Motherfuckers, the Patriots are America's team, bro. The Patriots are particularly white America's team at the end of the day.
I mean, really? Like you think there are diehard Denver Bronco fans that are rooting for the Patriots to win because I'm white and they white?
I feel like if you voted for Donald Trump, you're a Patriots fan.
I don't know about that one. Man. I'm
cool.
pretty sure there's some Green Bay cheeseheads that voted for Trump that are like, I don't care about the Patriots. I'm still rocking with.
I bet you they was
you know what I'm
for
saying?
The championship. You really think that?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they were rooting for it. That's what I'm saying. That's probably a factor of why the ratings went down, because these two teams, like, I know more people that hate the Patriots and hate the Eagles than I know that love the Patriots and love the Eagles. So why would you watch two teams that you hate or don't care about anyway?
I don't know, man.
Playing for a championship.
I don't. Exactly, to see them lose.
I guess I'm just talking about myself, because that's why I didn't watch. I was like, I don't like neither one of these teams.
I watched to see the Patriots lose. I hate the Patriots with a passion. With a passion.
I do too. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Well, you didn't. I'm sure you saw some of the commercials and whatnot, didn't you?
No. Well, I did mess around and end up clicking on the Odell Beckham and Eli Manning article.
Dirty Dancing situation. That was just weird. I don't even really want to talk about that because that was just strange.
And I heard that there was a lot of people upset about Dodge using Martin Luther King to sell trucks.
A lot of people were upset with Dodge for whatever side of the fence you sit on, whether you're a white supremacist or a normal human being. My issue is with Dexter King for approving that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you gotta, I'm sure, because I forgot the name of the company. It sounds like a shell company or something that handles all of Dr. Martin Luther King's licensing. And I know some of the speeches and things of that stuff are public domain, but that one is not. Mm-hmm. So they had to pay for that. Mm-hmm. And it's a for-profit entity. So my thing is, you didn't see the commercial and think that this was a bad look?
Explain to the viewers that did not see the commercial, like what happens in the commercial.
I mean, it's a whole bunch of like tear-jerking images and whatnot, and then there's a Dodge Ram truck driving out of the ethos into whatever. It's just like, bro, you can't use I have a dream to sell cars, bro. Like, it's not a good look. It's not in good taste. I know it's Black History Month, and, they probably thought this shit was going to ride because of that. It's not cool. It's not in good taste at all. And whoever the marketing person that approved this treatment was, they need their ass whooped. And Dexter King need to chill. You got your bread, bro. You live in a $5 million mansion in Buckhead. Like, you all right.
So moving forward is like Dr. King off limits for commercial gain. Like, should Dexter King not be using properties and speeches?
It's got to be done right. Like, it's got to be done right. It can't be straight up selling. Like, it can be something to where the product isn't shown. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's used for inspiration or it's used to unite. But that shit was just divisive as hell. Like, you got rednecks that was like, why they using this nigga's speech? And you got black folks like, why they using Dr. King's speech? Mm-hmm.
And there was no black people in the commercial.
I ain't even peeped that.
Army stuff, Army cadets and all that.
Yeah, I ain't even peeped that. I got to go back and look at it now. Speaking of, I did love the that Doritos and Mountain Dew commercial that had my man, the little guy from Game of Thrones rapping Busta Rhymes.
Oh, wow.
That was ill. And then on the flip side, They had Morgan Freeman rapping to Missy Elliott for a Mountain Dew commercial, but it was like a joint commercial. So that was pretty ill. The Keegan-Michael Key commercial with Big Sean in it was pretty funny too.
And what were they selling?
Some kind of mortgage company or something. You know, a lot of times it'd be entertainment plug. But his was like really like the first part was him and some square looking dude listening to Big Sean's Bounce Back. And he was like, "What is an L?" It's like the rapper in question is saying he's taking a loss. and then it was like a girl sitting at a table going look like through her dating profile, and it was like entrepreneur. That means unemployed. Like it means like he was just translating everything. So it was hella funny. I was rocking with that. Obviously the black. I think Justin Timberlake done lost his black card. He didn't have one with me, but after this performance, it was just like. Ugh.
So what went wrong? Because I heard, for the most part, black folks are on the fence about his album, which came out, and now it's like
Timberland producing on the album. Who the hell wants to hear a Justin Timberlake album that Timberland or Pharrell have nothing to do with? Who wants to hear that?
I mean, I guess none of us do.
He's never had a hit that one of them dudes didn't touch, to my knowledge. So yeah, it was okay. It was dead ass average. Like it was very just mundane. Like they tried. Apparently, from the social media stuff I saw, the crowd was quiet during the whole performance. And then the fact that Prince, from what we understand, didn't fuck with him it was kind of weird to have the big old projection screen up with him playing the piano and singing along. And then he said he got permission from Questlove. Like, nigga, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, you did not know Questlove is the self-appointed Prince expert. You know what I'm saying? You did not know this? Everybody has to ask Questlove permission for anything.
I don't remember
Prince.
if this was on the record. I don't remember if this was on the record or off the record, but there was something that I read or heard about some white person saying the word nigga and thinking it was cool because they said it around Russell Simmons. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? like what the fuck?
Hilarious.
He don't speak for everybody. I'm like, Questlove is not related to Prince, and Questlove is a weirdo. Like, you had to get permission from Questlove to do that?
I get, yeah. I mean, that is weird, but that is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people look at Questlove as like the Prince expert, like you know what I'm saying? But what was Justin Timberlake supposed to do? Was he supposed to perform at the Super Bowl in Minneapolis and not give it up to Prince? Because he would have caught hell for that. Like, how he gonna not acknowledge Prince? You know what I'm saying?
I don't necessarily think so. And if you're gonna do it, the Time perform like on Monday. Have the Time perform with you. Like, let that be something. Now, I don't know if anybody black was accepting any kind of invites from the NFL to perform now. I can't speak on that. But I'm like, come on, yo. Like, what is the deal? Like, I don't understand what this is. I don't know, man. Justin Timberlake got to get it together. And he's really not that relevant now. Like, Justin Timberlake ain't had a hit in years. Bruh, so...
I mean, the suit and tie went, didn't it? The suit and tie went
like 5 years ago.
Damn, is it 5? Damn, it has. Like it almost has been.
Because that was when him and Jay-Z were like doing the little arena. I mean, the stadium tours together. That has been a while.
That's been
a long time, bro.
It has been a while.
That's what I'm like.
I mean, I guess they're looking at JT as a person that has ascended, I need a hit right now status. Because like every Super Bowl performer is not a person that has had a hit out at the time. A lot of them are people that are like, okay, everybody knows this person's songs. Everybody knows who this person is. They might not have an album out right now, but everybody has something that they like from this person. I guess they were looking at JT like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
he was safe.
You know what I'm saying? He was safe. We've had him before. People know who he is. You know what I'm saying? We can rock with that. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask y'all this?
What's up?
Next year it's going to be here. Who do y'all expect that they're going to choose? Because, everybody
wants
somebody safe.
Everybody wants it to be Outkast everybody wants it to be Outkast.
Do you really think the NFL hasn't approached Outkast before?
No, they have, and Andre has turned it down reportedly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like they have been approached, and they've been approached multiple times, and reportedly, Andre has turned it down each time. You know what I'm saying? So like they have been approached before.
Honestly, if nothing changes in the offseason, like some kind of gesture has to be made to Colin Kaepernick for it to be cool to fuck with the NFL again, man. Period, point blank.
Well, today, certain artists from Jeezy and Gucci has added them on Twitter, like making their bids.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's crazy.
Because Bruno Mars kind of set it off, saying that the Super Bowl is in Atlanta next year. It would be the greatest party on TV of all time. He mentioned Gucci, Outkast, T.I. I think Jermaine Dupri definitely.
They would have to have Ludacris up there. Because he's always at the Falcons games doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's
always like.
He's safe.
And honestly, like Ludacris would be like their safest bet because he's already always performing at Falcon games or something to something. No, he can't be the only one. He can't be the only one.
What's surprising? I was thinking about who they could have. How has Usher never performed at a Super Bowl?
Good.
Usher
question.
has the most successful R&B/pop album of the last 20 to 30 years since Thriller, essentially with Confessions. Like, how has he not performed at a Super Bowl? Usher's a superstar.
I think that's why a lot of people was mad at Justin too, because that's what I said. I said we witnessed Usher last at the Super Bowl, but just he was white.
Yeah,
that should have been Usher.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if cause you never know these days. You never know. Like you said, like maybe they have approached him before and they were like, no, or hey, we need a bigger bag, or maybe they came at him sideways, like, hey, we're gonna have you up there with Chris Martin from Coldplay too. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Like anytime Beyonce performing with two other groups, like get the hell out of here. That's Beyonce, bro. Like relax.
The last time it was in Atlanta though, they had some country people. So that's why I'm kind of nervous.
I don't even remember. That was the Rams and the Patriots.
Yeah, no, that was Rams and the Titans.
No,
that was Rams and Titans. Yeah, that was Rams and Titans with the last minute touchdown, aka the Super Bowl that everybody remembers that Ray Lewis reportedly stabbed somebody. That's that one.
Coon Lewis. I thought that was the Rams and the Patriots.
That Rams and the Patriots was 2 years after because that was in the 1999 season, year 2000 Super Bowl that was in Atlanta. That was Rams and Titans. Yep.
Yeah, we'll see at the end of the day, man. What is it gonna take for progressive people, black folks, whatever, to come back to the NFL?
Like you said, it's going to take an acknowledgement of some kind of embracement of Colin Kaepernick. Is it going to be him playing for a team again? I don't know, but it's going to have to be some kind of acknowledgement and embracement, whether it's like, hey, we're going to cut the Know Your Rights camp a big check, you know what I'm saying? Or we're going to put you on a board for diversity or community outreach. Like, it's going to have to be something like that.
Not just a gesture that they put out. It has to be a gesture that he accepts and gives us the signal like, all right, it's cool. Like,
right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm riding with Cap. Like, that man is doing a lot of
good things. Or like, if it's not that, like, you know, just actual genuine actions if they have it in them. Like, even if it's not, you know, involving Cap and anything, if they do something where it's like, okay, we're going to put together some kind of committee or some board and have somebody like Richard Sherman or
I think they've already
one of the
tried
Bennett
to
brothers.
Do that with the shit with Malcolm Jenkins with the $89.3 million this, you know, dedicated to whatever. I'm not even exactly sure. It's
the hush money. They say
essentially that's what it sounds like. I was my cousin texted me earlier and was like, bro, if Malcolm Jenkins go to the White House, he is officially a sellout. And I was like, but he came out and Chris Long did as well. And I think as a team they're not accepting the invite to the White House, so I respect that 100%. For sure. The Super Bowl for black folks, though, is coming up very soon. What is it, February 16th? Black Panther is released in theaters.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I haven't seen it. I gave my screening tickets to one of the homies the other day because I had something to do. So I haven't seen it. I'm gonna go and pay to see it.
Did you get a ticket? I heard they were sold out for a week.
I'm good. I'll
Did he tell you what it was? Did he say it was good?
I haven't talked to him about it. I haven't heard a bad review yet from anyone.
Yeah, because apparently they did lift the review embargo today, so there are reviews out about it, like on Variety,
I saw the LA
you know what I'm saying?
Times.
So there have been published reviews, so they not stressing on the
One
embargo.
thing, I was never into comic books as a kid, so like I don't know like the stories. I did my research and I know it was introduced through the Fantastic Four in 1966, yada yada yada, but I don't really know like all of the backstory behind it. Honestly, I'm going to see it because Ryan Coogler directed it and he's from the town.
And that's the thing about comic book movies, because like I'm far from a comic book kid myself, but
we covered that.
But
the Black Lightning story.
but it's like I do know that it's always difficult to make these movies because these comic books have volumes and issues and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you can't
and then they start over and
right,
stuff like
right.
that.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fit the entire storyline into a 2-hour movie, so that they have to pick, okay, which iteration are we going to pick? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to pick the iteration from the first volume? Are we going to roll with the Ta-Nehisi Coates iteration? Are we going to roll with the iteration that Reginald Hudlin did when he had the TV show on BET? So it's like I'm curious to see like which iteration of Black Panther they picked, because apparently from people that I know, like there's the Black Panther that everybody's like, yes, that's my favorite superhero. And then there's the iteration where it's like, yo, that dude crippled the entire economy of Wakanda just to stay in power. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you telling me way more than I knew.
So like there's different iterations of this character where like folks are like, yeah, man, I ain't rock with him when he pulled that stunt, or oh yeah, I loved how he got down on this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering like what iteration they're picking, because like from early things that I've read, I don't want to give away the plot from what I've read, but people are already in debate about the character's stance when it comes to the antagonist in the film.
The antagonist being the white boy.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah, it's always going to be, at the end of the day, man, this shit is still owned by Disney. Like, it's like the restaurant you go to where the cooks is black, the lady helping you is black, the waitress and the waiter is black, the general manager is black. Hell, they might have some partners that's black. But at the end of the day, it's Stanley owns the building. So it's like, it's a different ball game altogether. But I'm going to support. I definitely want to buy tickets to go and see it, so I will do that. I probably won't go see it Friday or Saturday,
right? But
I'll probably go check it out on like a Monday or Tuesday or something like that.
Are you wearing a dashiki?
Hell no.
In matching kufi?
We love, black folks love symbolism, man. Like I'm like, no, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wear some black owned shit from one of my homegirls that got a clothing line. That's what I'm not wearing no made in China dashiki. That's what I ain't gonna do. Man, on another note, when the last time you bought a CD? That's a long thought process.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like, when was the last time I bought a CD? I do not remember, but I don't think it was like eons ago. But I just don't remember, because it's not something that I do frequently. It's not something that I do frequently.
What was the last CD you bought?
I ain't bought one in a while, and I sometimes tell people who come here, y'all know when y'all come here, you be seeing CDs around. I be like, yeah, I want to say y'all wasting y'all money. Cause they stay here, and then sometimes when they build up, they go in the garbage.
Yeah. For me, I think the last CD I bought was, I believe I bought Damn. That was the last CD I bought, because most TDE stuff is mixed very well. And if you listen to a CD versus the
you brought that up. I think the last CD I remember buying was To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
That's the last CD I remember buying, but I'm pretty sure that I've bought a CD just off a merch table at a concert that I might have went to recently. You know what I'm saying?
For anybody who actually still has a CD player in your car, listen to something on one of your streaming services, same exact song, and then listen to the CD. It sounds like two completely different songs.
Yeah.
Like, it is night and day. So that's why I usually buy TDE stuff or buy shit that I really like. And then when I go home, you know, to the Bay or to LA, I always hit Amoeba or Rasputin's and buy some shit that I haven't found or whatever. But I asked you that because we found out this week that Best Buy is eliminating their CD section. And this started like 10 years ago. I remember hearing this in 2008 that they were phasing it out slowly.
Oh, yeah, it's obvious because, I mean, you know,
the CD section in Best Buy is literally like 5 by 5 right now.
Right. I was like, you know, why is this even here? You know what I'm saying?
Like, you have to look for it.
Right.
Like, it's next level. But then also Target is saying that they may start only paying for CDs that people have actually bought.
So explain
like, you
that.
can
What is
ship
it?
what you want to ship, but that shit is coming back. And you're not like, you know, because normally it's wholesale. You pay $5, $10, whatever wholesale is, and then they put their ticket on it. But they're selling fewer and fewer CDs. Like, if you notice, like, other than, like, I think Taylor Swift's last album might have been the last thing that Target actually marketed and pushed that you saw, like, at the front of the store in CDs. But, yeah, man, times have changed. And then vinyl sales are going up every year, which is wild. And vinyl, that shit is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was in, I think, Amoeba in L.A., and I was like, yo, I'm not paying $23 for Illmatic on vinyl. Are y'all crazy?
I mean, for Illmatic, yeah. I mean, for Illmatic, yeah. For something that's like just a new release, I'm probably gonna wait. Like, I probably wouldn't pay like $23 for like the new Future. You know what I'm saying? But like Illmatic,
that's
mean,
expensive
you know,
too. Like, I guess it's more expensive to press vinyl. Like, I've been wanting to get Kamasi Washington, the Epic, the three joint on, but I'm like, I'm not paying $50-something, $60-something. Like, I'm waiting for that shit to go on sale.
I mean, for certain things, like, because, you know, I have some vinyl, and it's like, for certain things, I consider collector's items and things that I actually want. Like, if I saw Illmatic and I wanted it, you know what I'm saying, and it was 23, I would part with it, because, I mean, I'm thinking, when Illmatic came out on CD in 93, CDs were probably what, like, $14, $15 then. You know what I'm saying?
I probably bought Illmatic at least 4 times, and it's been cheap for like at least the last 20 years.
Consider this math. Say that you paid $9 each time. That 9 times 4 is 36. You have spent $36 buying Illmatic 4 times, and CDs are easy to lose. Nobody's walking out your house or creeping out your car with your Illmatic vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it may be a worthy investment for albums like that. Like, not for, you know, Culture 2 and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I tried listening to Culture 2. I tried.
You know, but but I've paid a pretty penny for vinyl that I wanted. Matter of fact, like, I think the last vinyl I bought the Thundercat Drunk album.
You bought it at the show?
I bought it at the show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was not inexpensive, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was an experience. Like, okay, I got it, and, you know, got them to sign it, you know what I'm saying? So it's something that, you know, you can, you know, say, and vinyl is cool, you know what I'm saying? So I can see why it's going up, because, you know, and I think a lot of it is from, you know, our generation and teenagers, you know what I'm saying? Like, teenagers are really into going thrifting and going into shops, and the vinyl is on prominent display at places like Urban Outfitters, so like it's being marketed as this thing. They gotta be making a killing
because that section keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
That
so like,
has
it's
to
a
be
thing.
one of their things.
It's a thing.
We didn't have this on the show rundown, but you brought up something that I think should be discussed. Our homegirl, both of our homegirls, Lourdes, photographer out here, real dope. She brought up, she was like, "Yo, creative millennials need to stop jacking the '90s," and I'm paraphrasing, but it's kind of gotten out of control, bro. Like, everything is 90s. Fashion, music, reboots. And it ain't just millennials. It's period.
I mean, that's kind of how cycles work. Because I remember reading something years and years ago. But not even 2005. Yeah. Let's say it was maybe like 2005 I read this.
That is years and years ago.
And it was something about, somebody was breaking down how things tend to go in 20-year cycles.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, remember back in the 90s, there was a fascination with 70s culture. You know what I'm saying? Bell bottoms made a brief comeback. You know what I'm saying? People started wearing afros. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a brief time in the 90s where it's everything 70s was the theme. Funk music. You know what I'm saying? You had people trying to recreate Woodstock with the festivals. You know what I'm saying? Even though that was the 60s, but it's like things go in 20-year cycles. Then you even think about boy bands, right? Boy bands blew up in the 80s, like New Edition, New Kids on the Block, all that kind of stuff. And then, in almost 20 years later, more like 10, you saw the Backstreet Boys, the NSYNCs, you know what I'm saying?
Orlando
Stuff like
movement.
that. Right. So, like, things go in 20-year cycles. So, like, because I've heard that from other people, too, saying, like, how this generation now is jacking 90s. I wouldn't look at it as jacking. I think it's just a cycle. It's like things go in 20-year cycles, and then you also are in a situation where it's like people are discovering these cool things for the first time. Like, oh, damn, man, I wish I was around for that. I want to see what that's like. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of crazy, though. Like Hitmaker, a.k.a. Young Berg, is up at Atlantic now. He produces a gang of stuff. And I swear every other beat I hear is some kind of remake of a song that was hot in the 90s.
Now, that's whack. Now, that is whack.
Some of the shit is jamming.
I'm not a fan of that. Like, when it comes to music and you're just, on some old, I'm going to just keep taking from this, that's whack. Now with fashion, you know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at seeing a Carl Kanai shirt pop up somewhere.
You
know
a
what I'm
cornball if you wearing turtlenecks in 2018. I saw them niggas at the Grammys with turtlenecks on. Like, y'all need to stop. That shit is not cool.
You know what I'm saying? But like with music, I'm not so sure about that, because like music is one of those things where it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I know I just named, like the culture of like Backstreet Boys and all that kind of stuff, but like some stuff when you're just like taking samples and just recreating stuff all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know about that.
It's the Hitman, it's Bad Boy all over again. Now some of the shit is dope, like the Ty Dolla $ign joint that took Only You from 112. That shit is jamming, but there's a lot of misses out there too. Right,
because you're just taking stuff, like you're not pushing yourself. You're not pushing it, and you're not like being inspired by the aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Because like for instance, like what comes to mind, like like just like I'm into more like in the visuals and the sounds, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I see like an aesthetic being pushed, cool. But if it's a thing where it's like we are just gonna take this beat from beginning to end and do that. You know what I'm saying? I can see if it's like, man, let's bring back them boom bap drums. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring back that cowbell, that ding, 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 like things that you used to hear like in old E40 beats. Like, let's bring back these sounds. Not, nigga, let's take this whole beat. You know what I'm saying?
Let me run with this one time. Nah, I'm with you on that. I understand that. Yeah, but it is 20-year cycles. We know that. But it just seems, I guess because we live in a 24/7 news cycle and social media puts everything in your face, that it's just like, bruh, it's kind of like, what the fuck?
Everything.
I remember when I was living in New York, the retro kids were heavily on the 80s, 90s stuff, but it was cool. Because they were the only ones doing it. Like, I felt like if they would have, like, came out and really pushed records, like, they would have been big. Because they were so ahead of their time.
Case in point, somebody like Cool Kids, they brought back an aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Who's the producer in the group? What's his name? English? Charlie English? Chink English. Chuck English. He wasn't just taking whole beats and like, I'm just going to take that beat and act like I did it, or I'm just, like he took sounds like, okay, I'm going to put this Beastie Boys sounding scratch here. We're going to do that. Like, he was like bringing more so like sounds and aesthetics, not just, okay, I'm just going to take the whole, fight for your right to party beat. Right. You know what I'm saying? And do something with that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense, man. We mentioned very briefly the Rock Brunch, and we had a couple individuals. And for those who don't know, Rock Nation's Brunch is like the place that you should be if you're trying to be seen during Grammy weekend. And I heard that shit was like in the World Trade Center. So like security was on 10, but it looked cracking from the pictures. So there was an image on that floated around on social media with Jay, Big Sean, Jim Jones, Khaled, T.I., Swizz, Steve Stout, whole bunch of people.
Yo Gotti's in there.
Yeah, Yo Gotti's in there.
Elliot in there.
Kareem, Biggs, Burke, L is in there, YN, and some people in the back. It's probably rich as fuck too, but I don't recognize. And Speech from Arrested Development came out with I hate to use this word, but to me there was some hating shit. A group of so-called successful black men, minus Khaled racially, who became rich and famous from perpetuating the worst black stereotypes to the ears and eyes of the whole planet, like drug dealing, pimping, murdering other black men, and disrespecting black women. I know, making observations is being a hater. Cheers. Now, isn't this a conversation that we have like between each other, as opposed to having this conversation put out to the world?
Well, to that, check this out though. Like, I know the internet is a big place.
It is.
It's a big place. So, but I also believe that there are conversations that happen on the internet that, even though we think it's getting put out to the world, technically it is. It's still kind of just with us. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there are too many.
You don't think this made it past Black Twitter?
Not if it did, not very far. Like, I don't think the Homer Simpsons and the Frank Hills of the world, you know what I'm saying, living in Green Bay, Wisconsin, are like, man, you saw what Speech said about them niggers at the rock lunch. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that it's getting out there to that. You know what I'm saying? And then if it does get to somebody like the Tommy Lorenz of the world and all that, they're only like picking that thing. So to that, I still think, like, when people do stuff like this, I don't think there's a thing where it's like, oh man, you're putting out our dirty laundry. Like, this should be something that's only talked about with us. Because I don't think that. But
to me, it was kind of like not irrelevant. It was badly timed. Jay-Z is coming off of 444, extremely mature album, pretty much making amends for the things that he has said and done in the past. We all grow. Steve Stout is not a musician. Like, he's a business person. Big Sean doesn't rap about pimping or murdering or selling dope. Elliot's a fucking journalist. Khaled, I don't know what Khaled does, but he's great at marketing. T.I. rapped about selling dope. Yo Gotti rapped about selling dope. Puff ain't never rapped about none of that shit. So, like, what the fuck is you talking about?
Selling dope was not the only thing that was mentioned. He also mentioned pimping,
murdering
of black men, and disrespecting black women. So, like, in Speech's eyes, and I'm not trying to, defend the man, but it's like, for all of those ills that he named, yes, everybody in that photo has, to some degree, partook of it.
I can't say that.
None of them have called a woman a bitch.
Right, you can say that.
None of them have.
And granted, we all grown here. Right. What if they called a bitch a bitch?
Hilarious.
What if they didn't call a black woman a bitch? What if they called a bitch a bitch?
I'm pretty sure they've done that too. But every time somebody's like, I got bitches, I can take your bitch.
I understand
bitches
that.
On my dick. That they're not all just saying. No, I'm only talking about bitches.
I get that. I understand that 100%. I just don't think it was
but to your point,
it was badly timed.
It was poorly timed because, like, obviously these brothers are celebrating something. They're celebrating being in the building, as they say. They're celebrating being on the top of their game. They're celebrating, like, look, man, we can come together on something because at some point a lot of these gentlemen in this photo have had issues with each other. So, like, they're celebrating. So yes, it was poorly timed to take that snapshot and add that to it. Am I mad at what he's pointing out? I am not, but it was very poorly timed. And even he admitted, like, look, I listened to this too, but his point was like, look, this is not, what black empowerment looks like. And this him speaking from his lens, because it's like,
no, fuck it ain't.
they're going to be.
He's bugging off of that.
The hell it ain't. Dude, he can miss me with that shit.
No, from his lens, he's saying that's not what, quote unquote, true. Now, I'm not agreeing with this man, but it's like, from his lens, I'm feeling what he's saying is that's not what true black power looks like. What his idea of true is, I can only go off the music that he's recorded and things that he said. Right, so he's saying.
Let me say this. Mm-hmm. And allegedly, I'm not going to, I say allegedly because I've seen his brother speak during a funeral I was at when I was a kid. Allegedly, Huey P. Newton got killed trying to buy dope in West Oakland. So does that negate everything he did with the Black Panther Party? Everybody has flaws.
Everybody has flaws, yeah.
Everybody has flaws. Like, miss me with that shit. And speech follows us. I believe on the Day One Radio joint, I've reached out to them about being on the show. I would love to have a conversation about this, because as far as I know, and I mean no disrespect, because I'm from Oakland and we all about black nationalism and all of that, but bro, if you are employing people and you have made amends for what you're doing and you own shit and you're teaching other people how to own shit, that means way more to me than sitting down in a circle talking about the ills of the world. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is we doing? Right. Like, you in the game or you out of the game. If you decide not to play the game, then you decide how to circumvent the game. If you in the game, you play that shit to the fullest and empower your people. But I don't know how this is pushing black people forward at all.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then Raven Simone punk ass co-signing it like,
we even got to talk about her. she didn't have the thought. She didn't rise. She just added some gasoline. But it's like, I guess, like you said, like, it was definitely ill-timed. It was, it was not a good time to take this celebratory, snapshot and make it that, what I'm saying. I guess, like, if he wanted to not come off as a hater, which I don't know if he's concerned about that or not.
I'm sorry.
He could have added something along the lines of, like, look, these gentlemen have also made amends. T.I. was Bill Cosby on TV for a minute. Jay-Z has released a mature album for once in his life. You know what I'm saying? Yo guy is still talking about hoes and dope, so I don't know about him. You know what I'm saying?
But it's still really entertainment, because really, what's the difference between them and a John Singleton who got rich off of exploiting the black culture just like they did? Mm-hmm. Just like, who's the white dude, Scorsese guy?
Yeah.
He exploits his Italian gangster shit, and he gets rich off of that. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing them dudes did. Now
you have a point there.
You have a point there. That's the crazy shit.
Man.
Like,
Speech.
we all change.
Don't be surprised if them title checks start coming for Arrested Development streams.
Hilarious.
Oh man, that will be some shit.
That's it, man.
Wow.
God, watch what you say sometimes, man. We had mentioned JD earlier, bro, about somebody who Bruno Mars would like to see perform at next year at the Super Bowl.
Jermaine Dupri, for the people that are not catching on to the initials.
Yes, JD, Jermaine Dupri. And he had a very big accomplishment announced very recently. He is heading into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Alongside John Cougar Mellencamp, Alan Jackson, and Kool and the Gang. Like, that's
the class he's going in with.
June 14th in New York City. So that's big, man. He is the second hip-hop artist or rapper to go in. The first was Jay-Z last year, man. And we've had JD on the show. JD is a solid dude, man. I know he say a lot of stuff that piss y'all off, but hey, man, where's the lie? As they say.
And, it's well-deserved, because, I know a lot of the headlines and reports are going to have him credited as a, rapper, hip-hop producer. But it's like, this man is also behind the Usher songs,
Jay-Z,
the Mariah Carey songs that you love. So it's like, yeah, like this is a good look for him,
crisscross.
Man. Yeah,
like, this man has been making hits for damn near 3 decades. You know what I mean? So, and he's hip hop this man danced on the Fresh Fest, nigga. Yeah. It don't get no more hip hop than that. Period. Right. Like, period. Unless he was in the party that Kool Herc was at. When they say that hip hop was invented, it don't get no more hip hop than that, man. So salute to JD, man. That's big, man. Before we leave, it's first quarter. It's a lot of music coming out, man. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, what's coming out? Because I haven't looked to see what's
Prime 2.
Okay,
It's coming out.
I enjoyed the first one.
Oh, the first one was that's what made me a Royce the 5'9" fan. Was Prime. Like, I wasn't a fan before. Mm-hmm. So shout out to him. That was big. Love Prime 1. So they dropped a song called Era with Dave East it's pretty good.
I need to get into Dave East. That's one guy I haven't really.
He did some jerk shit the other day
got
online.
Into. Like, it's like I want to be interested, but I'm not, because I always like to see authentically New York artists represent and win. I think that's needed for the game the same way we need certain franchises to win in the NBA and NFL. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see new, but it's like, I guess I gotta reintroduce myself to his music, because like things that I did listen to, I was like,
he got some joints. Yeah. Check out the last joint. It's called something too, but he got a joint with Lloyd Banks is hard, and he got another joint I heard the other day on I think K Slay show that was dope. So he got some joints. Okay. I feel like he's coming into his own as an artist, man. But he definitely got some joints. But he's on a joint called Era. I'm just trying to figure out, because the first Prime was all from Adrian Young, samples from Adrian Young, music Adrian Young had made. So I wonder, is there an underlying theme behind this one?
Is there going to be more Adrian Young, or we don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Shout out to Adrian Young. Make sure y'all go in the Day One Radio catalog and look up the Adrian Young interview.
Definitely. Look up the Royce the 5'9" interview too. And also, obviously, I think damn near everybody knows about this one. The 16th of February, Nipsey Hussle is finally dropping his debut, Victory Lap. Definitely looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that too. I guess I don't get caught up in semantics, because like I know there's like a big hubbub about it in certain circles, but it's like, so what does everything else count as? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it's like,
he's one of the few that's been honest and said like, yo, I've had certain songs for 3-4 years that I saved because I knew that this was album worthy material. So, and it's the put, and he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, because like granted, like Rap Niggas was a cool song. I wish he would have approached the song differently. As hard as that beat is and the chorus is. I didn't know he was just going to do rap niggas, the whole song. You know what I'm saying? Cause like that kind of turned me off, so I haven't really listened to anything else that is supposed to be on this album since then. You know what I'm saying?
That last time that I checked with YG is hard as fuck.
Okay.
That shit is hard. When that shit came, I probably listened to that shit like 5-10 times in a row. That shit's hard as fuck. And then, obviously, we talked about Black Panther earlier. On this Friday, the Black Panther soundtrack comes out, which is curated by TDE. Now, we both come from an era when soundtracks meant something. Mm-hmm. Above the Rim, Juice, you know what I mean? Boys in the Hood, Menace, all these soundtracks meant something, and that kind of went boomerang. That kind of went along the way as streaming services and all that came out, and compilations and whatnot.
Your soundtracks would be you would be picking up soundtracks for movies that were whack, or you had no, you know what I'm saying, plans of singing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I bought albums for a particular song that I couldn't find nowhere else because it was on.
Right. Hell yeah.
So I feel like TDE, they've reinvented so many other things. It's kind of bringing the soundtrack back and reinventing it, because I feel like people went in the studio to make songs for this particular album.
And I think it had to be done for this film. It had to be done for this film. Is this going to bring back, the soundtrack? I don't know, because I don't know if we're going to have many more monumental or just highly anticipated Black films where it's like, I can't wait to hear the soundtrack that goes along with this. We're going to, of course, have more Black films, you know what I'm saying? Right. But it's like, I don't like it had to be done for this. They could not do it. You know what I'm saying? If there's going to be a Black Panther movie, there's going to have to be a soundtrack. Now, the next, what's my man who made Get Out?
Jordan Peele.
Like the next Jordan Peele film, do
just
I need a
think about
soundtrack for that? I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's revisionist history. It's backtracking, but just think about how ill it would have been to have a dope soundtrack to the Pac movie, to have a dope soundtrack to Get Out. You know what I mean? Like that means something. Like if Drake can stop making albums and start making playlists, then you can have soundtracks to shit. Like Spike Lee, even though some of them weren't good, the Mo Better Blues soundtrack was crazy. You know what I mean?
Crooklyn gave us Crooklyn Dodgers
1 and 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then what was Prince doing the whole set? It sucks, but the soundtrack for the Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not all. You're not always gonna hit it out the park, but at least try. Like we need those kind of movements in music again.
Yeah, so I would love to see that come back. Like, is it? I don't know, because I don't know what's on the slate as far as like black cinema is concerned, or just cinema that you know. Like I said, like I was saying, like
Judgment Night shit, where it patterned the rock.
Right. Like I'm saying, like I don't know how many films are going to like warrant that kind of musical attention. Now, as far as the soundtrack itself, are you blown away or underwhelmed or just like,
I mean,
by the track list? Because because that's what we used to go off on soundtracks though. Like when you would look at the back of the CD, be like, nigga, they got so-and-so on the song together? Oh, shit. They got a new song from this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you used to get excited. When I saw the track list, I was not excited, even though you got, multiple Kendrick Lamar appearances and TDE is all through it. I was not necessarily like, oh, shit. I've got to have this in my life.
For me, I'm like, Zakari is on the Love Me joint from Kendrick, so I would like to hear some of that. I'm a fan of Mozzie, so I want to hear Mozzie. He got a joint on there. I'm a fan of SOBRBE. These young kids out of Vallejo, if you ain't hip, get with them. Check it out. I've never heard of some of the people like Georgia Smith. I like that Vince Staples is on here. Schoolboy Q and 2 Chainz always make good music when they link up.
Yeah,
so,
that is true. That is true.
I would like to hear Kendrick and Travis Scott. Like, they got James Blake. The Kings, their shit is hard. J-Rock murders it as usual whenever he's on something. This Ab-Soul, Anderson .Paak, James Blake song is probably going to be ill.
I guess the reason I wasn't blown away is because, like, when I saw this, which is like the basis of this conversation we're having right now, is like you're thinking, oh, man, they're bringing the soundtrack back. And when I think soundtrack, I'm like, I'm going to see people from everywhere on it. And it's like, it was very, very, very,
West Coast,
very West Coast heavy.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm used to seeing soundtracks like, what? Nigga, there's a song with Scarface and MC8 on this motherfucker?
Right.
Shit. There's a song with goddamn, Red Man and E40 on this bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm used to seeing those kind of things happen on soundtracks. So when I saw this, I was like, this is damn near a TDE compilation.
You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, I don't know if Mozzie signed the deal, but he probably has. SOBRBE, Young T.O. signed the Interscope, so that's an Interscope thing. And so it is a TDE Interscope thing, but they winning right now, so why not?
Why not?
If you messing with the winning team,
Speaking of TDE, man, it's called the Championship Tour, right?
Yeah.
Did anybody notice that Isaiah Rashad is not on there?
I did notice that. I did.
Like, is he doing spot days? Like, I heard he's not on there because he's working on his album. But I'm like, man, like, how is the tour not more important than the album?
I don't know. I would ask Top, but the last couple times I've texted him, I haven't gotten responses. So, you know what I mean?
Like, what?
I don't know.
Damn.
That's I don't know. I gotta ask some of the homies what's up with that. Some of the Interscope homies what's going on with that. But I don't know. You might not be on the label no more. You might have asked for a release.
I know the relationship was rocky before the release of the second album, like, because he had went through a lot, you know what I'm saying, yeah. Like, for us, like, just substance abuse and depression, and he almost got dropped, and, you know what I'm saying, just because of his behavior. You know what I'm saying? But things seem to be all well because, I mean, hell, they released the album and they did a tour. You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely trying to be at the show if I'm in town, man. So we appreciate y'all listening, man. Make sure you hit us up on all the social media. That is DAY, the number 1 radio. And make sure you subscribe, rate, and review us. Let you know what you think of the show. And we'll be back next week with another dope show. Peace.
peace.